Hey there and welcome back to South Park: The Stick of Truth. My name is Pete and today we complete the first part of our second day in South Park, and in today's episode we will complete two more side quests. Number 1, the homeless problem, and number 2, dropping off the kids. As you can see, after returning from the alien ship, we have now also switched outfits, as some of the alien gear and also the alien probe are a bit more useful than what we had equipped before. And with that, I think it's high time we get going. After escaping, the alien ship just crashed in South Park in the last episode, and up next we are going to experience a bit of the aftermath.
Oh my god! They came out of nowhere! There was a huge earthquake and then there was burning in my yard! Didn't you hear about it? It's all over the news, here, look!
And that a large earthquake and several fires in the South Park area last night woke many residents from their sleep. Here with the report is a midget in a bikini. Tom, government workers here are assuring everyone nothing out of the ordinary has happened. They claim that the only reason huge tents have gone up to cover this area is to mask the construction of a new Taco Bell, which will open sometime later this month. Thanks, midget, I do love me some Taco Bell. The mayor of South Park states that last night's tremors and fires are under control and that hopefully schools and businesses can open again soon.
It's horrible. You don't understand. The elves, they took the stick! And it's bullshit because that is totally cheating. We specifically said no trying to take the stick at night. Elves are dirty little liars and we have to lay waste to their entire base. You have some incredible ability to make friends quickly, Sir Douchebag. I'm sending you on a quest to go out into the lands of Zaron and recruit a whole nother faction to Koopa Keep. Find the goth kids and give them this letter. Get them to join our kingdom and we shall lay waste to the drow elves once and for all! Fucking cheaters.
Alright, we have a new quest and one that we will start to work on immediately.
I was just come over to see if you wanted to come play with us again.
Outside, our buddy Butters has now rejoined us. I believe the choice between him and Kenny here is made based on who was with you last. Now, on our way over to the Goth Kids, we can actually take care of a few things, and one of the first things we can do is we can unlock Jimmy's garage after we picked up the garage key in the Giggling Donkey in episode 7.
School is cancelled. Taco Bell rule.
Now, one very crucial thing that we took with us from the alien ship is the alien probe, and I'm not talking about the one we have in our hands. This alien probe will be immensely useful from here on out, especially in this episode, as it now allows us to reach a few very interesting spots throughout town. And one of those spots is actually inside of this house here and can be accessed via the garage. From here we can teleport into the room with the open window, and inside of that room we can find the backpack with a few potions, some cash and an armor patch. Apart from our newly acquired teleportation abilities, we can also use our farting abilities next, as down in the garden we still have the knocked over grill.
How did your ass learn such incredible magic so easily?
And using our dragon shout ability, we can ignite the charcoal next to it, which clears the path to a chest full of loot. We continue down to the left and end up near the community center now, and our point of interest here is that basketball court in the back. On the basketball court we can then find Shin Pokemon number 16, so only 14 more to go until we have the collection completed. After teleporting back we continue on to the left, and after a few seconds we have reached the school. And this right here is where the Goth Kids hang out, not inside of the school but in the back of it, which can be accessed through the gate here.
Who's that?
I think it's that new kid people are talking about.
Beat it, new kid. This area is strictly for goth kids. What's this? Join the Kingdom of Koopa Keep to battle the wicked elves. All recruits welcome. Sorry, Frodo. We don't play Dungeons and Douchebags.
Yeah, beat it, new kid.
Oh, come on, let's do it. We never do anything.
No way! We can't do what this kid asks us to do. He's a conformist. Look at his clothes and his hair.
Yeah, tell you what, new kid. Get the right clothes and some cigarettes and coffee, and then talk to us again.
Yeah, if you want to prove you aren't a conformist, then you need to look exactly like we do. Then, maybe we'll consider hanging out with you.
Alright, so our main questline has become a bit more precise, as we now need to find cigarettes, coffee and clothes to fit in with the Goth Kids. And that is also about as far as we will push the main questline for today. As for the rest of the episode, we will make use of our newly found alien probe abilities. That of course does not mean that we will go on a mindless exploring spree. Instead, we can, for example, teleport down into Stark's Pond, where we can find Shin Pokemon number 17 and a bit more loot as well.
you keep a secret? Neither can I.
From here we will now continue to the right until we reach a group of elves, and we will quickly pick a rather lopsided fight here, a fight that gives us enough experience points to level up to level 7.
We usually win.
Just like before, however, we will save the upgrade point for later.
Have you accepted Christ into your heart? The South Park Church is 2 blocks that way.
Outside of the police station, we can then quickly climb up the ladder and teleport onto the roof, where we can make another unexpected friend.
Ho, ho, ho. Well, looks like you caught Santa checking the police database to see who's been naughty. You wouldn't tell on Santa, would you?
We can now teleport back and climb down the ladder again, and then we'll continue on to the right. Our destination for the moment, and also the place where we will spend most of the episode, are the sewers, which we can now finally explore to their full extent thanks to having the alien probe. The sewers are also the place where we can complete the rest of the homeless problem side quest, and we can also both start and finish an entirely new side quest down there, the dropping off the kids side quest to be precise. This gap right here was what blocked our progression on day 1, but now that we have the alien probe we can easily cross and not only help ourselves to the loot behind it, but also climb down the ladder in the back and explore the sewers properly. Next to some loot and of course some enemies, we will find a lot of these drains down here, drains that we can at least temporarily disable by shooting their valves, allowing us to cross below and safely reach the other side.
Smells like strong magic down here.
And on this other side, we can now put in place the Man-Bear-Pig defibrillator.
I hope you fellas don't get angry, but I have to smite you.
This immediately triggers a fight with a group of rats, but also continues the Man-Bear-Pig questline, a quest for which we already placed 3 Man-Bear-Pig sensors in South Park, and placing this defibrillator on the ground is apparently also necessary to help Al Gore find Man-Bear-Pig. Now, once again, I quickly accelerated this fight a bit, since apart from getting us another perfectly timed block, it was no real competition. Around the corner here, we can then open the gate and grab Chin Pokemon number 18, and then meet one of the sewer residents.
Howdy ho! Gosh, thanks for coming to visit, but here, every day is Christmas, so when I say howdy ho, you gotta say, howdy ho, Mr. Hankey. Give it a try. Howdy ho! Guess they let anybody down in the sewers these days. Who's at the door? Is that the guy with my pills? No, it's not anyone with pills for you, darling, okay? I called that motherfucker 3 hours ago! This is my lovely wife, Autumn. She celebrates Christmas with vodka and muscle relaxers. And here, every day is Christmas. Wait, where the fuck are my kids? What do you mean, where are the kids? You're supposed to be watching them out back, Autumn. No, they were being watched by the babysitter. The babysitter quit 4 months ago when you threw up on her. Don't you fucking yell at me! Don't you excuse us a minute. Don't you ever embarrass me from a stranger like that! You're drunk, Autumn, and you don't know where your kids are. Fuck you, they're your kids too, you piece of shit. No, fuck you, Autumn, fuck you. Howdy ho. Listen, I gotta get my wife some help. Could you go look for our children? I sure would make it worth your while. They're Simon, Amber, and Cornwallis. Tell them their father wants them home right away. My babies! Bring me my baby! You're a fucking train wreck!
I'm getting hungry down here.
Alright, and with that we have now acquired the dropping the kids off side quest.
I don't like being pushed around.
This is a rather straightforward fetch quest. We simply need to find all 3 of Mr. Hankey's children. Now, this fight right here will let that play out in real time for a bit, because we are about to witness a brand new ability. And that ability is Butter's Professor Chaos Attack.
Let's see how you like dealing with me.
Now, Professor Chaos can be a very powerful ability, depending on the actual attack that is used. Using the ability, Butters will choose one of 5 attacks, or actions to be precise, since not all of them are actually directed against the enemy. In this case, he chose the Chaos Cloak, shielding us with 9 layers of shields, which is of course a very nice defensive power, but not really what I was hoping for here. And that is also the main downside to the ability, as it is completely random which action is actually chosen. Next to the cloak there is also a life drain attack, as well as the Chaos Blast, the Hammer of Chaos and the Chaos Storm, all offensive attacks that do high amounts of damage to multiple enemies. And as you can imagine, that was a bit more in line with what I had hoped for here. Now right here we have found Ember, the first of Mr. Hankey's 3 children, but the sewage coming from above is currently blocking our way towards her. That is why we have to move 1 level higher first, where we can turn off one of the drains on the right side, and then we can move around the corner and clear our way downwards again.
Thanks, mister. I wish I had a safe and warm environment in which to thrive, but I don't, so I guess I'll go home.
And with Ember as a friend, we now have unlocked another perk, a perk that we will take care of at the end of the video. It is not dramatically important at this point, and I want to complete the sewers as fast as possible. And as I mentioned earlier, apart from the dropping the kids off side quest, we also have another one to take care of here, as there are 4 more homeless camps to relocate as part of the homeless problem side quest.
I've killed way bigger guys than you. Well, the new kid has.
Once again, we're giving this fight a slightly accelerated treatment, at least until Butters once again uses his Professor Chaos ability.
Let's see how you like dealing with me.
This time we got the Life Drain attack, an attack that not only deals damage to our enemies, but also heals us with some of the hit points that have been taken. Once again, that is not super useful at the beginning of a fight, but it can easily turn a tough fight around in your favor.
You gave it your best shot, and that's all Jesus asks of you.
And with that, we have now relocated homeless camp number 4 of 7, so only 3 more to go, and all of those will be down here in the sewers. After clearing the sewage drain here, we will pass by the ladder next to it for the moment, because there are a few things further down to the right that we can take care of first. Opening the gate and going up the ladder, we can now take care of 1 more animal for the big game hunting with Jimbo side quest, as we can use some cheese here to lure out the penis mouse.
I've killed way bigger guys than you. Well, the new kid has.
Now, despite the penis mouse being a unique enemy in the game, the fight is actually pretty straightforward. It only takes a few moments because our enemy has a rather large health pool. However, the mouse is not armored and therefore we should be able to do nice amounts of damage here.
I'm sorry.
And after stunning our foe in the first round of combat, we are immediately up again, and that second round is also already enough to end the fight right here without any damage taken.
I was seeing if it worked. I really feel sad for him.
And just like that, the penis mouse is now defeated, and combined with the rabbit, junkyard dog and the farm cow, we now have half of the animals for the side quest already taken care of. Downstairs, we still won't use that ladder we passed by earlier. Instead, we'll take the one to the right side here, which leads us not only to homeless camp number 5, but also to the second one of Mr. Hankey's children.
When are we gonna catch a break?
Once again, we'll slightly speed things up here until Professor Chaos enters the battlefield.
Let's see how you like dealing with me.
And in this fight we get the Chaos Storm attack, an attack in which Butters, or Professor Chaos in this case, fires 5 energy bolts at random targets, dealing a moderate amount of damage with each bolt. The energy bolts are not limited to 1 per enemy, so theoretically all 5 bolts could hit the same enemy, obviously with devastating results.
Thanks, kid. My drunk-ass mom sent me to get more eggnog and I got lost. See ya.
And so we have now found and befriended Cornwallis, leaving only Simon left for us to find in this quest. We have also obtained the broken bottle weapon, so if you're going for the full arsenal achievement requiring you to collect all weapons and equipment in the game, then you want to make sure to pick that up here as well. Apart from a backpack in the corner, we have nothing more of interest down here, so let's head back up, and now it's finally time to take that ladder that we ignored for so long. Down here to the right of the ladder, by the way, that sign says emergency exit, indicating that we are in fact moving into the right direction. Because that emergency exit, that is what we'll want to use to eventually leave the sewers again.
Hope we can find those little shit nuggets.
We have also just obtained the Rod of Waste melee weapon, and we're now about to relocate Homeless Camp number 6.
Oh Christ, what a pickle.
This one only consists of 2 hobos and a rat, and one of the hobos is weak to shock damage, and so this time we won't play a game of chance with Professor Chaos. Instead, we can simply use Butter's Hammer of Storms for a sweet double kill.
No. Oh boy, we won.
And so here we are, only 1 more homeless camp remains, and we are actually about to stumble upon that in just a few moments. For now, the only way we can use here is upwards, which will soon lead us to find the third of Mr. Hankey's children. We will ignore the tunnel for now and instead focus on the sewage drain first.
This is like finding a dingleberry in a sewer system.
And once we're through, we can smash open our path onwards. Now, before we do anything else here, we quickly want to switch buddies.
Help! They're after. Uh-oh! You made their mama angry.
Don't get me wrong, Butters is an excellent companion, but for what comes next, Kenny is much better suited. Now, we didn't manage to get the first hit, and so the rats begin the fight here, but then again, this is a great way to get the counter for the Skilled Defender achievement up. Once we are on the clock then, we want to make sure to first target the mama rat. And then we'll wrap this fight up in one swift go with Kenny's Furry Friends ability. And that ability is of course the reason I chose Kenny here, as it is the perfect way to quickly take out all those small annoying enemies here.
Thanks so much, mister. I was afraid those rats were gonna get me, and I was gonna end up a floater.
Alright, and now we have found Simon as well, and he's also our friend now, meaning we could now return to Mr. Hankey and complete the quest. That would, however, require a lot of backtracking, and so we'll save it for a later point in the game. Now we can use that tunnel, which brings us to another area, and here we have to hurry a bit, as pulling the lever here will start a timer, and once that timer runs out, the gate on the right that has just opened will close again. And that gate is our only way out of here. In the end, getting through in time is not that much of a challenge, and we'll soon find ourselves on the other side. Here we can quickly create ourselves a shortcut should we ever return later, and then we can proceed on to the right and help ourselves to a bit more loot. Down here we want to go right first, smash through the wall and get to the back behind it, which contains a bit of cash and a health potion. And on the left side we can now find our final homeless camp. Now, bringing Kenny here is not necessarily ideal, but we get lucky with the Sling of David, as that one hits both hobos and leaves them weakened enough for Kenny and his furry friends to finish things off here. And so that was homeless camp number 7. They are all relocated now, and we can return to the mayor to turn in the quest. After clearing a few more pathways for an eventual return at a later point in the game, we can continue, and the emergency exit sign next to the tunnel here tells us that we are still going in the right direction. And right here, the scenery slowly changes, and maybe also listen to what you can hear in the background. Yes, that's right, that is the Crab People song, but fear not, we won't have to interact with them just yet. Instead, we soon find ourselves in a fight against a group of bats, and it is once again very useful to have Kenny on your side here. And who you hit with the new kid really doesn't matter in this one, as Kenny with his furry friend's ability is more than capable of taking out the entire group on his own. That rock at the top, we cannot smash that with the means we have available right now, so the only choice we have is to move on, help ourselves to a bit more loot here, and then fight another group of bats. And if you're able to attack first, this fight is just as easy as the previous one. Just pick a random target to attack with the new kit and then let Kenny finish the job. After this fight, however, we want to make sure to switch back to Butters again, as we have one more single unique enemy coming up, and Butters is generally speaking the better companion for those. The ladder here is the exit, but we'll skip that for the moment. Instead, we can loot another bag and then prepare for a fight against the fruit bat.
Hamburgers.
This bat is of course once again part of the Big Game Hunting with Jimbo side quest, and just like the penis mouse, it has no particularly strong defenses apart from a rather large health pool. So we'll start things off with a Jiu-Jitsu to stun, and for some reason that gives us not 1 but 2 extra rounds of attacks here, which is of course more than enough time to take our enemy down.
I know violence doesn't solve anything, but I kinda like it.
And with the fruit bat defeated, we can now finally leave the sewers and head back to the surface. We make our exit next to the theater, and from here we want to immediately head down and then to the left.
Have you heard? Taco Bell is coming to South Park. We finally made it!
In South Park's business district, we can once again make ample use of our alien probe, which gets us inside of this building here where another potential friend is hidden. We can also use it to teleport ourselves on top of the roof of the photo dojo, where we can find the bag with a bit more loot in it. Back down on the street, we want to continue to go left until we reach the bank. Here we can first teleport on top of one roof and then onto another, which gives us access to a secret chest on top of Tom's rhinoplasty, a chest that among other items holds the Squire gloves. Now don't make the same mistake I did and teleport behind the bank, as our way onwards simply continues to the left.
Will this snow ever?
And we will walk until we have, once again, reached the sewer entrance. And yes, we will go down there again, although I will slightly speed that up, because it is the fastest way to get back to Mr. Hankey and turn in the dropping off the kids side quest.
Howdy ho! Thanks for finding my kids. Thank the nice man, Nuggets.
Thank you.
Anytime you need my help, you just call on me, and I'll be there sure as a shit on Sunday. Howdy ho! Except against bosses, of course. I might have shit for brains, but I'm not stupid, and I can't help you more than once per day. Just like I can't help anyone who won't help themselves with rehab.
And with that, we have acquired both Mr. and Mrs. Hankey as our friends, and we can now also summon Mr. Hankey in fights, although not in boss fights. So let's quickly return to the surface.
There's a rumor the girls have a secret base, but I've never seen it.
Now there is only one more thing we need to take care of in this episode, and that is turning in the homeless problem side quest. And all we have to do for that is to stop by City Hall. By the way, very important, fart on the mayor here at least once, as that is part of an achievement.
Thanks, kid. Your work helping with the homeless of South Park will never be forgotten. Here's your cash.
And here we are, the homeless problem side quest is completed, Mayor McCormick is our friend now, and we have leveled up. And that level up has just unlocked the Whirling Doom ability, which is one of the abilities I saved our upgrade points for. Let's also not forget we have another perk point to spend, and we'll be pretty straightforward with that, using it to unlock the Mauler perk, which increases our melee damage. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we have completed today's episode. In the next one, we will very likely continue with the main quest line. Until then, as always, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers!